So, if we want to explain why the music student sees himself and the teacher also sees the student in the models that we're drawing, what do we need to include in our models? We've had some class work on this in the past. Here's a list of what we've come up with. 1, you need a light source in room A and no light source in room B. So that would be our original video, our original phenomenon. Light on in room A, light off in room B. That has to be in our model. The light leaving the light source. Okay, so in some way we need to show light shining out. The light reflecting off the music student. So we can't see the music student unless light's shining on the music student. And then that light has to reflect off. And that's what people are going to see, is that light reflecting off the music student and everything else in the room. There has to be a one-way mirror type thing between the rooms. Some kind of material that works as both a mirror from one side and a window from the other. The structure, we need to include the structure of the one-way mirror material. In our model, we need to show how it works. What is it about that particular material? We've had the example of the half-silvered one-way mirror. You could have window film. There's a variety of things. Light reflecting off and transmitting through the one-way mirror material. So the light has to go through the material to the teacher's eyes for the teacher to see the student. And the light has to reflect back off the mirror. Some other light reflects back off the mirror so that the student sees his own reflection. So the light bouncing off the student goes to the one-way mirror, and some of it goes through, it transmits, and some of it reflects back. And we have to show the students and the teacher's eyes. You can't see without eyes. And we need to show that the light from that mirror or glass enters their eyes. We need to show the light entering their eyes. So those are the things that need to be in our model. So there's a picture like you've had to draw on. First thing you do is you draw a one-way mirror, and you've got it half silver. So they've drawn some black segments there to show that there's parts that are going to be reflective and parts that are going to be transparent. And they show the light here coming down from the light source. It shines on the student. It reflects off the student to that material in the middle, to the one-way mirror. Some of it reflects back to the student's eyes, and some of it transmits through to the teacher's eyes. So most of us have a model that looks something like that so far. So we know that the light from the light source reaches the student, reflects off the student. We're going to add colors to the arrows. So now we've got red showing the light coming directly from the light source. Orange is showing that it shows the student, and the light that reflects off that student. So now I've got that orange around him. I got the orange reflecting over to the one-way mirror. Half of it goes through. And notice how I got a thicker arrow and a thinner arrow. So that's showing that not all the light goes through. It's like half and half. Half goes to the other side, and half goes back towards the student. So now I'm color coding the light. It says the light shines on the student. The light reflects from the student to the window. Because half the light reflects from the silver areas in the window and half the light transmits through the clear areas, both people can see the student. So now we've explained how they both see the student. And down in the key, we've got that orange arrow showing the light coming off of the student. So the teacher's in a dark room. Why doesn't the student see the teacher? Why doesn't the student see the teacher? The teacher's in a dark room, but it's not completely dark. She's lit up a little. We know that because we can see her. If there's not a little bit of light on her, we couldn't see her. So why doesn't the student see her? Where's the light coming from that lights up the teacher? In the picture, I can see two possible sources coming through that one-way mirror a little bit. And also behind her, I saw, especially in the video, some other doors and windows behind her in the hallway where some light could be coming in. So, modeling. What happens when light from room A from the room A light source shines directly on the one-way mirror towards the teacher. So this arrow up here shows light from the ceiling light bulb. So we've made it red, and it goes directly over to the one-way mirror. Oh, wait a minute. Of course it does. Some light shines on the student, some shines on our student, some of it's going to shine on the one-way mirror. And when it does, some of that will reflect off, and some of it will actually go through. So that's how light gets into the room with the teacher. Says the arrow showing light from the ceiling light bulb is not colored orange because it goes straight from the source to the teacher in room B. Where does the light go that shines on the teacher? Well, and how can we represent that the light has reflected off the teacher? What happens when the light reaches the one-way mirror? So it reflects off the teacher and goes to the one-way mirror. What's going to happen? Light from the teacher reflects, and some of it goes back to the one-way mirror. So the light comes down here and hits her. Now we're doing purple for the light coming off the teacher, for the reflection off the teacher. So that light bounces off and goes to the one-way mirror. It says some of the light from the teacher transmits through the clear areas of the material window, and some light transmits back towards the teacher. Oh, so some of that light goes through that window and actually goes over towards the student. And we're going to zoom in on their eyes and show what light is entering each person's eyes. So on the side here, we've drawn eyes for him and eyes for her. And we're going to show that there's two sources of light coming into each of their eyes. There's a strong source, the orange one, that shows the light reflecting off the student. And then there's a weaker or smaller amount of light that's reflecting off of the teacher, because she's in a dark room. Some of the light reflects off of her. Some of it goes through. So a lot less light is actually coming off of her and making it back through that one-way mirror. But there is a source of light that's reflecting off of her. So it says the eyeball is a model representing that light reflects off both the student and the teacher, and then goes into the student's eyes. And this eyeball on the other side is a model representing the light reflecting off both the student and the teacher, and it goes into the teacher's eyes. So here is a little bit better drawn picture showing the light on, the light off. The eyeball is a model that represents both the student and the teacher, and then the light reflects off both the student and the teacher, and then goes into the student's eyes and into the teacher's eyes. The light source, the light coming off the student is much stronger, so we've drawn the arrow bigger. That's probably an important point, that the amount of light coming off the student and off the one-way mirror back to him is very strong. And the amount of light coming from the teacher in the dark hallway is a very small amount of light. So what they see is that stronger source. I wonder why they don't see the weaker source.